Hello and welcome back to another Tech Articles. This article is a little bit different. It's a sneak peek at something I've been working on for a little while. I will at some point release a larger video that shows you all this in motion and some of the ethos behind it. But it's a plugin for SureForms. So I've already installed SureForms on here previously and set the forms up. They're already in the database, but I just wanted to show you that it is the basic SureForms. So I'm going to install that from the repo. If I can find it. There we go. And you'll notice there's no SureTriggers being installed here either. Our automator of choice, as in most of my videos, is going to be FlowMattic. I'm going to also add a new plugin here. In fact, let's just go to SureForms and show you the forms that I've got. I've got two forms here. I'm not going to submit the second one, but I'm going to use this one as an example here. So I'm going to view this form straight away off the take it. It works as usual. Hello. Just submit, and that's it. As usual, we submitted our form. I'm going to refresh that form. I'm going to go back to forms and I'm going to show you an edit. And if we go to form confirmation, you'll see we've got success message and redirect. I'm now going to go back to WordPress and plugins, and I'm going to add a new plugin. And I'm going to grab that off screen, such. And I'm going to install it now. And this is Response for SureForms, the plugin I've been working on, which is now installed. And we're going to go back to our edit certificate option. I'm going to refresh that page, and you'll notice that we now get a new option called the Hookshore response. I'm going to select that, and it will automatically select below form as it's the only option available to us. I'm going to push save, and we are saved. So now we are good to go. Now, for those of you that may know and have watched, Hookshore I released last weekend. Hookshore is a SureForm webhook program, and this takes that initial code of Hookshore and modifies it, so it's still all branded Hookshore. It still works as Hookshore. Hookshore forms part of returns. It isn't, but it's still available as a separate plugin. So the key bit of information from this site is this is number 9. So we are going to go to Tools, Hookshore, push a 9 up here. And we need a webhook URL. Now, as I said here, we're going to be using FlowMattic, so I'm going to head over to this workflows here. And the first one we're going to do is a standard body return with copy button. And I've set up a few workflows here to make this as quick as possible. And I'm not going to really talk you through the workflows. The workflows are relatively simple. So standard return, I'm going to edit this workflow. It's activated. I need this webhook URL, which I'm going to copy and paste into Hookshore over here. And I'm going to save that, and you'll see that that's now been saved. We've already told it that we want the form to return below by what we did over in forms where we selected webhook response form below. So the forms bits is now done. We've got our form here, and if we refresh this, it's now loaded with all of the new JavaScript it needs. Now, all this really does is it triggers a webhook. It has a 5 seconds delay here, and I've done that. And as I say, there is a delay function inside FlowMattic, but I've used the PHP function here because I'm recording other things with it. As well as the 5 seconds delay, I'm recording and logging so that I can check how things work. And then this does an API post back to our item. So this comes from our webhook response. So although I didn't submit it from this response on this video, you'll see down here there is a custom response URL, and that just selects that custom response URL. Let me grab that and not add it twice. Custom forward URL. It's a JSON with parameters, and I've set my parameters. In this case, we need the session ID, the form ID to ID the form. We want a body of your awesome message, and this picks the top box, teacher's name of our form, and puts that back to us. We want to display the body, and we want to display a copy button. I'm going to save the workflow, and I haven't tested this on how I'm doing this. I did a little video before using this on this, so let's put a name in here of Bree and submit. And a 5 seconds is not fast enough to go and show you the workflow and how it's triggering, and we'll do that for one of the later ones. And there you go, your awesome message Bree with a copy button. Push copy, and your awesome message Bree is in your clipboard. So that's that one done there. We're going to reload this certificate. We don't need to do anything on the certificate page. We're going to go back here and we are going to modify this. No, we're not. We will actually ignore that. Actually, we will modify this. I will remove the copy button as an example. So, was that standard return? Yep, standard return. Edit workflow. And what I'm just going to do here is I'm just going to push no on copy button and save. And that's saved. I'm going to go back to the certificate. I'm going to push BRE2 for speed. Submit. And we should get BRE2 come back, but no copy button. And there we go. So we're going to head back over to workflows. We're going to go back one and we're going to do a picture and a body now. So I'm going to turn this workflow on. All I need to do here is grab this and we scroll down here and I'll talk you through this. Again, like last time, session ID, form ID and a body with an awesome, your awesome message and the teacher's name. Display a body, yes. Display a copy button, no. It has an image, yes. And the image URL. And we're using Pixum photos here for a random photo. I'm going to save that. We now head over to Hookshaw settings because we've got to change the webhook URL because we're using a different workflow. So I'm just going to push 9 up here and I'm going to push the new webhook URL in there and I'm going to save that and you'll see it updated the webhook URL. Rather than delete it, we're just going to update it. So we don't need to do anything with the certificate except reload it. And we'll put a new name of here of BRE3. And we push submit. And 5 seconds will pass again. I won't show you the workflow and the triggering. I'll do that on the next one. And there you see your awesome message BRE3, and we get a nice little 200 square photo from Pixum. And that's they can both be done together. You could have added a copy button there as well, but I chose not to for what it looks like. And we're going to once again go to workflows. And apologies for the speed here. There's a lot to show in a very short video. I want to keep this as short as possible because this is only a sneak peek. And we're going to go and close picture and body off, and we're going to create a certificate with PDF outputs this time. So we're going to edit our workflow. We don't need to do anything except copy this, and I'll talk you through our return. Again, session ID, form ID. We don't want to display a body. It has a PDF, and Crove will give us the PDF URL. So I'm going to save that workflow, and then I'm going to load show history. I'm going to head over to Hookshaw settings, and I'm going to push 9 in here again and tell it we've changed our webhook again. So it's now updated with a new webhook. I'm going to reload this and call it BRE4, and it's important we put a child's name in here this time. So I am going to call this one Christine, and I'm going to push submit. And now this one takes a little longer. So if we go over to task history, you can see it's fired the webhook. We're talking to Crove. It's gone to Crove. Crove is now generating, and Crove is now generated and sent back. So if we go to issue a certificate, we get a certificate. Underneath the browser, you can see here it's got Christine on it. You can see here it's got BRE. It's downloadable. It's printable. All the things you can do on a normal document are there. It opens up with a side panel, but it's directly underneath in your form. So that's another option for us. We're going to go back to workflows. We're going to close this one down because we don't want to do that. And we're going to use a custom URL this time with a link. So we're going to activate this one. Right, now we're going to test with a URL. So I put the form number 9 in it. I've taken the webhook address from the URL one here. Let's close some of these other workflows actually because it's getting a little bit messy up here. So let's close these. Let's close this one as well. So we've got our workflow. I'm going to copy our address. It's for the URL. I'm just going to make sure I put the right address in here. Save settings. That has all that updated. I'm going to issue a certificate to test 7 and test 8. And I'm going to push submit. And if we go over to our workflows and view our history, we should see a trigger. We do. We see a trigger here. It's triggered the webhook. We can see it's sent to Crove and it has already returned allegedly. So if we go over to our issue certificate page, you can see congratulations, test 8 from test 7 with our explanation marks. And you can see that's got a link to the Crove document. I'm just going to click that so it loads. And you can see test 8 and test 7 listed here in our certificate. And that's really a basic oversight of what is currently being penciled as returns for SureForm. And this runs on the base version of SureForm from the repo. It doesn't need anything else. I've only tested it with FlowMattic. There is no reason it shouldn't work with anything else you can do the same sort of thing with. So as long as you can do an API post with variables, be that via, even if that's via a PHP snippet, you should be able to use this for other stuff. I'm not sure if there's any interest in this. I'm not sure if it to finish polishing it or not. But for me, it will be really useful when I want to use FlowMattic with SureForms. If there is interested in it as a plugin, let me know, and I will maybe put the effort into releasing it. Yeah, thanks for watching.